Tommy Armstrong here from Lally Centre Eglish. This is the first of our series of virtual open days that we're looking to do. We're here with Mark Cunningham from Mahadui, and we're going to just have a walk and talk through the shade and the setup that he has here, ask him plenty of questions. He's going to do most of the talking. With Jacob here as well from the farm management support team, and we'll be asking a few questions as well.
The tricky ones?
Yeah, the tricky, anything difficult we're going to ask Jacob. So we'll just walk and talk here. So what sort of setup do you have here, Mark? What's many cows you run, cubicles?
We have two Lely A4s that were installed probably over 5 years ago.
Right.
So we're in the middle, I suppose, now of our sixth grazing season on them. We try and keep around sort of 115 cows milking the year round. Our milk goes for liquid milk, and we try and keep as even a milk profile as we can throughout the year. We always graze cows, and I didn't want to go away from grazing cows because grass obviously is the cheapest feed. So
cheaper feed, yeah.
We zero graze them at night, probably because over half my land here is rented land, and supposed to be its nature, it's fragmented, so I can't walk all the cows too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Rather than make silage to feed them at night, we decided to zero graze. It gives us the flexibility, we can go wherever we like to do that, you know. So.
Yeah, so you've stuck with grazing. Plenty of people have started robots and started grazing and maybe stopped doing it and just kept them in the house. But see, you're fine. What's your setup? Are you A, B, or A, or what's your?
Just A. They're out during the day. They get the fence changed every day, and they come and go during the day, and they're housed at night.
And how do you find at the end of the day? Do you have many cows to chase out of the paddock, or?
Cows are creatures of habit, and they know what the score is. So usually the minute they hear the zero grazer starting,
right,
they all start to head up the lane. So unless there's a cow in heat or something, there's very rarely any cows to collect from the field.
Yeah. And what about allocating grass? I suppose it's the same as it was before, is it?
Aye, we don't get too stressed out about it. If they get too much today, we give them less tomorrow, and I suppose in a way you can't make cows graze out as heavy a covers, so you need to be grazing slightly lighter covers to get the cows to graze out, because the fact they have the choice of being in here or out in the field, they'll choose where they'd rather be and what they'd rather be eating. So
they tell you what they like and they don't like. Well, I mean, what sort of height of covers do you go into?
Mobile phone height.
Mobile phone height. All mobile phones are about, I think, 4 inches or so, 4.5, unless you've got a big tablet or something.
But this year has been, I suppose, quite tricky because it has been quite cold at night and dry spells, and then bursts of growth whenever it comes on wet and one thing or another. So it's been quite, but we're quite used to grazing, and we just eyeball it, and if we think we've too much grass, we bale it out sooner rather than later to have it coming back again. And we always have the bales that if there comes in wet weather or very dry weather, then.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, one of the common things, I think that maybe common mistakes with grazing is that a lot of people leave taking out the paddocks too late to try and get it bulk up, that you have something decent to take in.
Aye, well the problem that is then you're slowing down your regrowth. So so we sometimes have to apologise to the baler man, but we go sooner rather than later.
You must be quite friendly with your baler man that he'll come and do it for you. I think that's one of the biggest challenges, but it is an excellent thing. There's no doubt about that. Is that I think people would have taken out paddocks, maybe allowing them to grow too long, and then you're too short on grass further down the line.
Well, the fact that we're reasonably restricted for what fields we can graze around here, I can't afford to have them out of the rotation too long, so that's why if we decide to bale them, we jump on and do it. So it's
excellent. So you got your baler man on speed dial then?
Something like that, yeah.
Good. Why did you go robotic in the first place?
Well, I suppose it was 6 or 7 years ago we started to think about it, and I suppose the first experience I had of automation was putting on the Discovery.
Yeah.
And it was fitted just a few days before Christmas, and I remember coming out sort of 5 o'clock Christmas morning, and the scraper was scraping away. So it was me and it was in the yard. So I sort of started the cogs turning that maybe automation would work. So our parlour had been on since the 70s, so it was well overdue a change. And we explored all avenues, but my biggest problem here was my father's retired and my family are young, so there's not really much family labour, and it's hard getting labour at milking time 7 days a week. What I found, especially whenever I was milking, it was like a marathon, because I had to gather the cows, change the fencer, milk the cows, feed the calves, wash the parlour, and it was just like a marathon from start to finish. And now we have a full-time workman, but he works from 8 to 5, or if he needs to do school runs, 9 to 5. And it's more flexible for him for family life, and it's more flexible for me. But it's just the problem getting somebody 7 days a week to give you a hand in the parlour. And we started to look at the robots. The cost wasn't a great deal of cost. Whenever you started to cut out a parlour with all the bells and whistles you wanted on it, and the size of building and collecting yard you needed, there wasn't a wild lot of difference in the cost of the two systems. One of the things that I haven't sort of thought about or expected, I had bother with sore feet and sciatica and sore shoulders because I was doing nearly all the milking myself.
Your repetitive strain injuries then from milking? Yeah.
So it's actually, I've no bother with any of that now, so that was something I hadn't thought about much. Or
I think it's one of them things that's underestimated, because if you mention that, a lot of dairy farmers think, gosh, they're just lifting on and off clusters, they're not too heavy, but there's a lot of people with repetitive strain injuries out there, and they don't realise it.
I remember being at a milk meeting just whenever I was trying to make up my mind, and I was one of the last there, and I was in the front row. And whenever all the ones were, I was waiting for everybody else to get out before I started to walk up, and I was watching all the older dairy farmers, and I started to think to myself,
I don't want to end up like that. But yeah, that's interesting. And I suppose the other question leading from that is, why Lely?
Well, I priced and looked at different robot manufacturers, and I suppose, especially whenever we're going back 6 years ago, Lely were the firm with the presence in the robot market. They were able to tell me they had a planner, IT guys, fitting crews, backup, and all I was getting from other manufacturers at that time was a promise that there was going to be. So just because they were Lely was established and well established, I thought that was like, at the end of the day, a robot's only as good as your backup.
Absolutely.
So I think that I'm quite fortunate about to my next door neighbour has two the same, and we have a good sort of arrangement of, if I'm away on a Sunday evening, you have a peace of mind if you ever got a phone call, he's there to sort it out, and vice versa. So
if you're out for a night at 3 o'clock in the morning, do you have him taking alarms, or do
I haven't had to yet, but you have that peace of mind that
you can make a phone call. That's a good arrangement to have.
So we're quite lucky that way too.
So on that point, like, has it ever got you out of bed much in the last year, essentially?
I don't want you to bring me bad luck here, but not too bad. Mostly phone calls that I've had are wee silly things, that you can be out of bed. It's like having a cow, you can be out of bed and back in and back to sleep without knowing you're up. There's been occasions where there's been a bit of lime dust got onto lasers, or pipes wrapped around each other. 2 or 3 times that happened over the winter. It was the same heifer that had been responsible, so I started to think it was a heifer problem rather than the robot problem. But that's one of the things I have noticed about Lely since I started. They're very proactive. Anything that has given problems seems to be addressed. It's either been modified or brought into the service or whatever. Be honest, I've had less and less alarms as time goes on because of that. At the start, I suppose, whenever I had my robots on, there was more boiler with nut pipes and stuff before those, what do you call that, the web bit.
Oh yeah.
You know, it come out and like a very simple thing, but it was a very clever design. You know, and it just done away with nut pipes and stuff overnight.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I mean, what is your favourite thing about the Lally robots?
Flexibility. I don't like watching the clock. Okay. I don't, you know, and especially another thing I suppose I hadn't really anticipated, or whenever, as we do a whole lot more our own field work and stuff now, that we do our own fencing, we do most of our own slurry, we do a whole lot of field operations, we do them ourselves because we have the time to do them ourselves. And the thing like about the robot, if you're out mowing grass or fencing or doing whatever operation you're doing, you don't have to watch the clock and run away. You have that flexibility. If you're an hour later or an hour and a half later, the thing's going on the same.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same even a Sunday evening if we want to take a wee scoot somewhere for an ice cream or do whatever, you're not tied to being back for a set time.
Yeah. And I suppose everything in life's not perfect. What's maybe the thing that annoys you the most about the Lally robot? What's the downside, the good, the bad and the ugly?
That's what I always say, they're the same as the children. They always let you down whenever you least want it to. So I think it was 2 years ago, I was dressed and ready to go out New Year's Eve, and I got a phone call and but 5 minutes sorted it, like, so they it's just, there's small times like that whenever you're just fresh out the shower ready to go somewhere and you get a phone call like, and you're coming up the road not knowing maybe what it is, you know, or whatever. But to me, those the flexibility and the extra milkings and the extra milk far outweigh any.
Well, would you have seen much of a difference in the milk then when you went on to them? Or
we did. And the other thing that I was very pleased about was the feed efficiency, because the feed to yield. I remember in our milking parlour, I used to have tapes in the tails and we had manual feeders, and if I had anybody else milking for me, they usually just went for the whatever number is in the middle and give them all the same, you know. Yeah. So our litres went up probably about 18 to 20%. Like it was a significant rise. So
litres is up and more feed efficient.
Yeah. And we've got 3 feed types in the robot there as well. This time of the year, our fresh calf cows are getting the Platinum 16 as I suppose the brand name, and then the Staler cows are getting the Zero-grazing, which is a higher fibre. It's only 15% as well. And the winter time, we have the option to feed liquid feed as well, depending on what way the diet's balancing out. So the thing, one of my worries, whenever I was starting, you always have less anxious time, I think, between buying the robot and getting them commissioned.
I think, what the heck have you done here?
So the amount of times I spent standing in the milking parlour thinking to myself, because if you're in the market or whatever, everybody always has a sad story. You know, but
good, but what is it? Bad news travels a lot more than good news, doesn't it? Yeah.
But that's what, even if I'm talking to other farmers, they always seem to focus, if they're asking about robots, people seem to always focus on one small area, like electricity usage or chemical usage or, you know, service plan or whatever. But whenever you take it all on the bigger picture, more milk, you're spreading your electricity over more litres. So it's usually, for us it has worked out, our electricity usage is down on a pence per litre basis. And like all those other things are all relevant to the amount of milk you're producing.
Yeah. So this is responsible for the robots, Jacob, if you want to see this little discovery. Basically it is...
that's the machine that sold automation to me.
That's sold the Lally milking robots.
But one thing that I noticed since I started, whenever we started in the robots, our cows sort of had a herd mentality that they thought they all had to be in the house at one time or in the field at one time. And it was very surprising how quickly, like, you very seldom come in here that there's no cows in. And a thing that I was surprised at is cows passing the lane. You know, I thought I'd have to have two, like a one-way system nearly, you know, but cows adapt very quickly. So they do, and like they decide where they want to be. Another thing I was surprised at is I thought whenever they get a shower of rain, they'd all come running in. If they get a shower of rain, they usually go to the hedge and then come back out again. They're actually quicker to come in whenever it's very warm. So they have the choice. They can decide where they want to be and what they want to be doing. So
ultimate cow freedom, isn't it? Something like that. You can freedom to milk whenever you want, feed whenever you want, lie in the house. Or
I think I enjoy
watching.
If I'm ever out in the fields there. Have you ever just keep an eye on cows coming in and out the cow track? Like cows could spend an hour sort of browsing in the hedge and stand below trees and doing whatever on their way in. They're not being marched in, marched out, so...
do you find that it has been easier on cows over time?
Cows, I think because there's more milkings per day, they're not having the burden of large volumes of milk, and I suppose that's taking pressure off their feet as well. The fat cows can walk in and out in the cow tracks, choose their footstep. If a cow steps in a stone, she has that time to readjust herself before she walks on, whereas if a cow's been marched at speed, she hasn't that.
Look, we'll come back to zero-grazing in a little bit because I have a few more questions on that, but meantime we'll just take a wee look in around the robot and the T4C just to see how performance is at the minute. Okay. Little Mark here in the robot room. Mark, let me just explain your routine in here in the morning. I suppose, first of all, the question is, how long does it take you in the robot room bit on its own?
Sort of, probably maybe could spend 20-25 minutes on here. We change filters, check the bleed holes, check the ropes and different bits and pieces. I suppose some days it takes less and some days it takes more, depending on what's to do, so.
Saturday evening is what, 5 minutes, is it?
Or else longer day. It should cut down Sunday morning, so that's it. Check all the detergent, heat up and one thing or another. It's just a routine you get into. Just to have your bleed holes, lasers clean, just make sure everything's the way it should be.
Yeah. You don't get these alerts to say you're at a teat dip in the middle of the night then, so...
Well, we have ours set that there's critical alarms and non-critical alarms. Unless they've stopped milking, they don't ring at night. And we have a lot of non-critical ones that aren't really affecting the ongoing milking turned off because it's sort of like the boy that cried wolf. If you had it ringing all the time, you maybe be less attentive. So we have them cut down just the bare essentials, and it seems to work well. So.
Mark, we're here at the separation area, which is obviously an area that if you have a cow that's needing attention, you can separate them out into here through your phone or the T4C or automatically. I mean, just on that point, do you have them set up to automatically separate, or is it manually done through the computer?
Generally, I just set up through the computer. But we use this separation for a whole lot of things. In the springtime, we bring everything through here as part of the training process for the going out through the grazeway. But having said that, all the older cows don't need it, and a lot of the times the heifers follow the cows. We foot bath through here. If we're PD and doing whatever, we put the numbers in, and the cows can be separated in here. This is just married into our old shed, so we have 3 cubicles here, and we can adjust a movable gate down the shed to accommodate whatever amount of cows we are separating. And it means they still have access to food, water, and the milking.
Yeah, so they can still milk away. They're getting their feed as well. You have locking head yokes here as well for capturing some of them. That's pretty handy because you can then have as little or as much separation as you like, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to adjust it to whatever number of cows we need to separate. If we have a bigger batch to dry off or a bigger batch to PD or whatever, we just adjust the cubicle numbers to what we need to separate.
Yeah, so that's just, you've just a gate to pull across there, and then that's just, yeah, that's very convenient.
It is. Especially, it's not easy separating cows, especially if you're here yourself or early morning or whatever. So it's the cows are well used to going through the separation. It's part of their routine. They don't take it as being strange, so it works pretty well.
Good. Here with Mark at the computer, and it's running the T4C management software. Mark, you're sitting here with a nice figure of 4,200 litres from the 2 Lely robots. Is that fairly typical, or is that an average, or what are the?
Well, it's what I try to say. I try and keep a reasonably level malt profile, and we all have to keep busy around here, so the robots are no exception. I like to keep them full, to take the full potential out of them. So I usually aim for around at least the 4,000 litres from the 2 robots.
Yeah, and these cows at the minute, they're doing, what is it, 33, 34 litres. And how fresh are they, or how stale are they, or when's your?
Well, I suppose because we're year-round calving, there's always cows at all stages. Although we calve less cows over the summer than we do in the autumn time. There's actually 9 cows on the dry-off list there this morning, so they'll be dried off sort of probably before the end of the week. On an all-grass system, I'm more than happy with that kind of yield, you know.
You're getting 2.5 milkings per day with just your A paddock, so you're not needing to do ABC to get them to move often enough.
Probably whenever I take that 10 cows out of the system, the milkings will probably go up. I know that's actually maybe quite high for me, sitting there at 12% free time. Okay. I'm usually in the single figures, but
you're pushing the robot on hard most of the time. Yeah.
See, I'm always sort of trying to get the full potential out of them. So
you have an excellent milk speed of 2.8 kilos a minute. Again, is that something you've targeted from the start, or how was that when you first started up versus now? Or
I suppose there was more older cows, and there was a few. I suppose in a parlour situation, you're not focusing on every cow, and as long as they're finished within the parameters of the rest of them, you never really focus much on it. Whereas you have all the figures on the computer here, what your milking speeds are, your box time, and all the rest of it, and you soon focus on what cows are using up box time. Say that the average box time there at the minute is just over 7 minutes, but I've seen cows with box time up to 17 minutes. You know,
get rid of them
well, maybe not straight away, but I certainly don't try and breed off them. They're always getting that much closer to the transfer list, but
yeah. And you've super feed efficiency here of 0.23 kilos of meal per litre. So Mark, once you come up here, what reports do you mostly use or check here on this on a daily basis?
Well, I suppose the first one I go to is to collect cows to see what cows haven't came or maybe had a failed molting or whatever. We set up a separate report here just with the colour numbers. So it means that if I'm not here or somebody else is here, rather than having to know the cow, that they can go and look for the colour number. The second one I suppose to go to is a health report, and usually sometimes that explains why the cow's in the collect list, but sometimes the cows are in the collect list, it's because they've been in heat or whatever, or sometimes it's the first sign that a cow's going lame, you know. So you know your cows. There's cows even that are on the collect list that I would leave to make their own way, because there are cows that I'll make their own way through, and there's cows that they're all different.
What do you set your threshold for milking for them to appear in that? Is it after 10, 11, 12 hours, or?
Need to check that out. Trick question. It's we have changed the milk access tables a winter times. Just they try and especially whenever there was times there I was sitting at 3 and 4% free time, like, and then
you up the milk access to with more cows essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, a herd in total. How many cows you run in total here altogether, milking and dry?
We've around 150, and it's sort of they keep 140, 150. It's to keep that just to try and keep that sort of 115, 120 cows on the robot all the time. You know.
You're aiming for that all the time. Yeah, that's fantastic. You get that 140, 150 cows because you know it can take maybe 110 or 120 cows to pay all the bills, and it's the last 10, 20, 30 cows you can get on top of that is profit, because the overheads can be the same, everything else can be the same. So getting the maximum number of cows in the robot is critical for profitability on the system. I
suppose it's human nature since I started. Whatever I did one year, I always try and better it the next year. So I would say that this is our 6th year grazing. We're pretty familiar with it now. We're not, you know, we sort of know what to expect.
So we're here at the grazery. Obviously, cows just have free access to go out through it. What's your times that they can get out, or what time can they not get out at, or what time are they in the house and so on?
Well, the gate opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. The cows know what time it opens. They hear the changeover, and they usually sort of filter out. You hear a cow or two giving a bit of a roar out of them. That's them alerting each other they're ready for the field, but they sort of filter out. They say the cows are quite familiar with the system. The house is never empty. There's always cows staying, whether they're lying cubicles or whatever. They're well enough used to the system now. They come and go. That's there's no restriction on what time they come in at night. The Texas gates are obviously open all the time, so.
They can come in essentially any time.
They can come in any time. You see cows going out there in the evening, especially a nice summer evening. You see cows going out at maybe 7:45, and maybe starting to come back in again at 11 o'clock. Sometimes, especially as the summer goes on, there's more stale cows. Stale cows go out in the evening and filter back in once it comes clear in the morning. So
they can actually stay out all
24/7
if they want.
But they say whenever they have the choice, the zero graze grass, they know where they can get the best meal the fastest. So
yeah, I suppose you can get
they know the system.
Fresh grass at the table, so to speak, as opposed to having to go and get it themselves.
But I find it a useful tool. That we don't zero graze usually on the evening, and that's what the cows are usually quite happy out in the field till they know what's. That's usually the way cows travel, in batches of 4s and 5s, and whenever you see them coming back in from the field, they usually buddy up and come in batches of 4s and 5s. So
so is there any time that you then run the grass down to nothing at the feed fence?
I suppose it depends. It's the same as the grazing. Some days you cut too much, and some days you cut too little, and it all depends how much grass covers you have in the field, what their appetite's like at the feed fence. So you just have to be flexible. Some days it takes 2 full loads to keep them going overnight, and sometimes a load and a half, a load and 3/4, and you just eyeball it, and whatever they need, adjust it accordingly. So.
Mark, so you do something fairly unique in that you're grazing and zero grazing. It's a bit of sort of in between, and we've a lot of people there that are just grazing, I suppose, ABCs or grazing in the day and then silage at night. How come, or why the combination of, I suppose, the zero grazing and the grazing then? What's the thinking behind that?
I suppose it's probably mostly because I want to graze the cows. I want them to get out, get the bit of exercise, get them freed up. Cuts the I want to graze. Ideally, I probably like to graze night and day, but now that I sort of fell into this system by accident, I don't have enough land around the house to graze them day and night, and I wanted to cut costs by feeding fresh grass, so I started zero-grazing, and it actually exceeded my expectations, because I was thinking more of just cutting down the cost of making round bales and this and that. But one of the big advantages I seen whenever I started to zero-graze is the intakes of grass, and I'm trying to push my milk from forage. So the fact that they can stand at the feed fence and eat in 3/4 an hour what it would take them 3 hours to eat or to graze, that's a couple of hours extra that they have lying producing milk, hopefully.
Yeah. Breeding wise, what are you doing, or what's your approach on that? Or?
I suppose we're looking for a medium-sized cow, both for grazing and for cubicles. You want a medium-sized cow that's able to hold a wee bit of flesh, that's going to be able to get up and down in a cubicle, and able to survive in the grazing grazing. And one of the most important things, I suppose, is other, although the robot's pretty good at getting on cows, but you still want you as near a perfect an udder as possible. I suppose even if a robot can handle it, there's no point in, you're better at breeding like the cow type. You want a medium-sized, medium length teat and well spaced teats.
Yes. And to get the type of cow that can graze and do 11,000 litres, that's good going.
Well, I don't know, like any research that's been done, your Holstein Friesian does the best in any system, so.
Essentially it is pretty much straight up Holstein cows with just a medium type on them.
We have some British Friesian bred cows, and we have a few Jerseys and a few just small numbers, Fleckbays and McBelliers and one thing or another, just for.
How do you find they compare? Is there any?
There's good ones and bad ones in all breeds, but the Holstein Friesians, the consistent, they're born to milk.
Zero-grazing, again, it's one of these things that plenty of people have started and then stopped, but you've started and obviously kept going with it, and it's working well with you. Why is that, or why are you different than some other folks? Maybe?
I don't know. Maybe, I suppose, firstly, our farm's fragmented, so zero-grazing is cheaper than paying a contractor and making silage, and you're never going to get as much milk out of silage as you are got off fresh grass. So the fact the zero-grazer gives me the flexibility. I can go to fields a couple of miles away and bring that grass home to them. The intakes, that's one of the things I like, the amount of forage the cows are physically able to eat, and the system. We have a mixture. Achadui is predominantly heavy clay ground, but we're very fortunate here. We have a semi gravel ground, and that's why I didn't ever want to turn my back on grazing cows, because I look on it as one of my strengths. That I have a dry grazing platform, so I want to take advantage of it.
So what about very wet weather or wet days, or how do you cope with the zero-grazing then?
You have to be reasonably flexible. We have wet ground, dry ground. I usually try to, I suppose, stick to the more level ground for the zero-grazer, because especially in wet weather, hills seem to be an issue, because it's a pretty dead weight, and you have a lot of weight on behind you coming down hills, so you can have a couple of hairy moments.
Dry ground, wet weather, or this dry spell followed by the wet spell is probably quite tricky, isn't it? It's it could be tricky enough getting it in.
But it's the fact that it's something I enjoy doing, you know, managing the grass for the system. I don't look on it as a chore.
Yeah.
But you have to be reasonably flexible. And during a wet weather, I'll pick a dry field and a dry level field, and I always take cows or fields on out silage rotation. You know,
Yeah.
they could be zero grazed one time and cut for silage the next. So you just do what sits in the day.
Yeah.
You know.
What about? Do you ever have to buffer feed at night if it's good? If it's a very bad spell with silage, or do you really stick rigidly to the zero grazing grass at night as well?
2 years ago, whenever we were supposed to suffering from a drought, every day I went out, I had to cover more ground to get a load, and it just got to the stage it wasn't economic.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try and keep a wee supply of bales, whether it's bales I've made for that or whether it's paddocks that have been taken out that have been too strong. And I say a whole lot of the things that my system has been flexible, you know. And Saturday night there we had quite heavy rain, and I put in 3 bales and then just cut 1 load rather than 2.
Yeah.
And it didn't affect the cows. It made no difference to them. The yield didn't change at all, so we chop and change a wee bit just to suit weather and conditions and grass covers. And
you like flexibility, flexibility in your approach and flexibility in the robots.
As you see here at the minute, we're on 100% grass. Cows will be going out to the grazeway here through the daytime. Always have access then to grass in the house here, staying in at night. Future visits to the robot. Mark, whenever he put in the robot, was always going to be looking at feeding them grass somewhere or another. We're at very dry, gravelly barn there, and historically he always was very, very good grassland manager. At the present moment in time, on 100% grass, he would be averaging around 16.5 litres from forage, from grass. That's a feed rate of 0.23 kilograms per litre. It'd be very consistent with that there, Mark. You see there, the grassland management is good. I would see a lot of zero grazers that maybe let the grass get ahead of cows and so on, and you would very quickly see that drop into the bulk tank. But here you will see litres being very, very consistent with corn and grass. As far as the feeding stone, we feed the yield here, we pick a maintenance cost level. We will vary it from time to time depending on grass quality or grass availability. I can do that by a few viewers. I can log in and make changes to the feed tables, but currently we're set up at 20 litres with the minimum feed through the robot, and then talking cows up to 0.45 kilograms per litre thereafter. In terms of the winter routine, so during winter time here, we would have a PMR, which is made up of silage, generally majority first cut, sometimes mixed with first or first and second. But we may well have 4 to 5 kilograms of blend through the wagon here to support the same level of weight to the robot. So if we look at here, in terms of feeds going to the cows, obviously the grass, as you can see there, is very good quality grass, very high in protein, very low in fibre. In order to balance that and maintain cow condition, maintain fertility, maintain milk performance, we would be dropping the protein of the rations through the robot here down to 15 or 16% at this time of year. So again, that's another cost saving by being able to drop protein in the feed. Now, say, what is very low in fibre, rumen helps the feed, so you will be adding an extra DSAG yeast some acid work and actually digest the fibre form of that's very important to see. Because it's all right, saving feed on the cows, but you still keep it quite high. And as you see there, cows aren't really conditioned. We like to try and maintain that fertility performance through the summer months as well. So yeah, it's important then that the vaccine not only reduce but change. Oh yeah, it's changed. So we have two feeds to the robot. Now, as I say, at this time of year they're both down to 15 or 16%. During the winter time we will have a higher protein one, generally 20-21%. And then a high energy, high cereal feed, which is usually 15-16%. And that allows us great flexibility in terms of not pushing protein on a fresh cow, trying to stop cows from first 100 days, losing excessive body condition, but it also then allows us the staler cow, we can target some higher protein to her to try and make sure she doesn't overfeed, try and blow the litres up. More important on a zero-grazing scenario than a grazing scenario, because if a cow is grazing, she can go out and nip off the leafy bits. When you're bringing it in, she has to eat what you're offering her. So as you can see here with this piece of grass here, this is the perfect stage. So 1, 2, 3 leaves, and the third leaf down near the bottom here. So there's only a small amount of stem. If that grass goes beyond that stage, all you're basically having down here is more stem. And you're bringing in more stem, you're bringing in more fibre, less protein, less energy, and that's where you very quickly dip grass intakes and dip grass quality, and you very, very quickly see the milk tank doing the same. So this is the key driver to market and consistent performance.
So, Mark, is there anything you would change on your system?
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, that's a trick question.
Well, I suppose at the time, whenever we did this, we built our unit round what we had, and we tried to make the best of what we had. And I suppose unless we had wanted a greenfield site, there's things that could change. And
but nothing you do different given your current circumstances. I think
I'm pretty happy. There's
maybe two of us getting 11,000 litres from cows and grass. So yeah,
that's all along. I always said that we're a good grass growing farm. We have a good dry grazing platform, and I didn't want to. As a thing we always sort of focused on is milk from grass. So I never wanted to turn my back on grazing cows. Our cows were always used grazing. I suppose one of the you just have to work with what you have. Our yard's at one side of the land, so ideally if I could get a Chinook helicopter and move my dairy unit to the middle of the grazing platform, that would be perfect. But see, a whole lot of farming is just making the best of what you have, or working with what you have.
And I suppose, what would you say to anyone thinking of going into milking with Lally robots?
I definitely tell them to give it serious consideration. If I was doing the same again, I would go the robot route again. I think once you get used, I always enjoyed milking cows, but it's just being tied to it at the same time 7 days a week, and depending, labour's not an easier got. So it's just, that's one thing I do like about the automation. That's what I said about the Discovery. The Christmas Day or New Year's Day or Easter Monday or a sunny Sunday doesn't make any difference to it.
It's always there.
Yeah.
365 days a year, as our engineers are. So.
Well, that's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I suppose probably finally to wrap it up, what's your future plans, or what's your future thoughts, or have you got?
We're just, I suppose, trying to streamline and make what we're doing more efficient. You know, I have no plans to do any big expansion or anything. I just want to try and make the most of what I have.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're doing a fantastic job. So, thank you very much, Mark. So it's been super walking and talking with you on the farm.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up now. That's it.